So guys, it is your boy That's Empire, and this is not a movie about no reviews, no reactions, no shoutouts, no Evangelion stuff, no updates, no series. Something I wanted to say, something I wanted to be doing, but first is this. The series that started it all, which got me into anime, Dragon Ball Z. I first came around Dragon Ball Z when I was like 4 or 5 years old, watching it on Toonami. I wasn't really watching it, it was just on the TV, and I just glanced over and I saw Goku versus Vegeta in the Buu Saga. And I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. And fast forward like a few years, I watched, season 1 of Dragon Ball on the air, explaining the events before and Goku's childhood. But it wasn't really until I bought the blue bricks that I started to know more about what happened during his childhood, because they wouldn't really show much of it out on the air. Either I didn't really watch it, or I missed it. But it really wasn't until I saw the first episode of Z when it was going by the name of Rock the Dragon. Like that right there is really sold me watching Dragon Ball Z. I watched it every single day. When I watched it, like I remember one time when I went to go get a haircut, I was yelling with my mom, and like it was like I want to see, I want some, I want to watch some cartoons, and like he pushed it over to Toonami, and it was a marathon with Vegeta and Nappa on Earth, and I was like, okay, let's watch this shit, and I just stood and I sat there watching with the TV while getting my haircut, and then after I was done, my mom wanted to get her haircut too, so I just watched it. I marathoned until Goku came to Earth and saved Gohan from being killed by Nappa. And it wasn't really until season 2 and 3 that, Bruce Fellner came onto the scene and swooped the entire community by storm, and playing his music. Now, his music, at the time, it really sold me in watching Dragon Ball. Like, I loved his music. Like, I loved his self thing. I love his Super Saiyan thing. I love his fighting things when he go in the air and he starts fighting. It was that fast-paced fighting that I love. It was Goku, heroic dub personality that, I'm gonna say everyone, all my friends. And, at that time as a kid, you had to admire Goku. And it wasn't the anime that I was first watching at all. I was watching, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Cyborg Zero, if you guys remember that, even Astro Boy, Inuyasha, which was a big one favorite of mine by a while, and even Naruto, there we go. But I wouldn't get my first real favorite taste. Well, I wouldn't get that first real taste of anime but I wouldn't get that first real taste of anime. But when I watched Fullmetal Alchemist, I got my first real taste of anime and what the broad, capacity what it could be. Which I might do every day on that soon. So you guys wanna have a little video about Fullmetal Alchemist, I can do that myself. But yeah, this experience changed my life forever. Watching Goku transform into Super Saiyan versus Frieza, watching Goku fight all these villains, watching Goku and his friends struggle against Cell, watching him sacrifice himself to Gohan, and then into this peaceful time, and then the Buu Saga came around. And I remember when they used to show the movies on TV, and like it was in this metal kind of thing, like like all 13 movies, almost all 13. Like I think it was Roar Slug when he first got a real taste. It was Roar Slug when we first got our taste of music from a metal band on TV on Dragon Ball. And then from that on until like Future Reborn, I think, then like they just kind of stopped. But like these movies, I watched. It was like watching these was a real treat. Having them on TV, and then you see them like in the store, and you gotta pick up a VCR, because back in the day we didn't have a VCR. We had, well, I had both a VCR and a DVD player, but there wasn't much really a DVD. And this is my last copy of a VCR copy of Dragon Ball Z. This is the World Martial Arts Tournament arc where Goku gets back to life after fighting Cell, setting it up for the Buu arc, with the Supreme Kai finally on the scene and he introduced himself as Shin and entered into the tournament. Like, this is around that time, because, yeah. And I will always treasure that. But even during Z, even during the fight scenes, the music, what made it special was the characters. Like, the characters, well, it was the characters. Mostly Goku. But it was also, characters like Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Krillin, like all these other characters that made it worthwhile to watch. Like, it was funny at times, it was horrible at times, it was stressful, it was a sense of dire. And when it ended with Oob and Goku going out to train, I felt a real empty hole in my heart, because I thought there was going to be more. And then, like, a year later, I think this is when Dragon Ball GT came around, and I thought that this was the definitive sequel to Z at the time, because I didn't know any better. But then I learned it was non-canon, and I was like, oh. But even though this thing didn't really, in my opinion, I didn't really enjoy it all that much, I still cry watching the end of this series, when Goku went with Shinron, and then after that, 100 years passed, and Goku Jr. and Jr. are fighting each other. I felt like this had a really good ending, better than Z ever had. Because it felt whole. Like, it felt like Goku was there forever. He was going to, when there's evil around, he was going to stand up and fight. And it felt like a real definitive ending to the series. Now, get to the world. Now, fast forward years later, like 2008 or 9, when the Son Goku and his friends are back OVA came out, and I was like, oh my god, there's a new thing of Dragon Ball Z. Oh my god. And I watched that, and we get to find out that Tarble is Vegeta's brother, and then they're saying who was escaped from the planet's destruction. And then after that, there was the episode of Bardock, like 1 or 2 years later. And then, I think it was either before that, Dragon Ball Evolution came out, and that movie was a pile of shit. But we have to take the creator for that. We have to take it for that, because we would have never got the sequel to the Dragon Ball series in 2013. Battle of Gods. And I don't know what about this, but Battle of Gods. This is a new god, a new character, a new type of villain. The god of destruction, Lord Beerus, and his attendant, Whis. Like, this is the first feature film in 18 years right now. Probably more. It's been like 3 or 4 years since it came out. But yeah, when this came out, it was a hard hit. I was able to see it in theaters. I will link it in the description down below where you can see my first reaction to the movie. I will with my friend Aaron and my friend Zach. My friend Fred, who I have not seen in like 8 years at that time. And this was a real treat. Seeing it with them, seeing the dub, and seeing Sean Schimmel and Chris Sabat and Kyle back in action as their respective characters was a real treat to have. And then fast forward like a year or two later, we got the Professional F movie, Version F, which is again a really good throwback to the series, having him back in action, having Frieza, the considered best villain in Dragon Ball Z, come back, strong enough to fight Goku as he is right now, and having a new form introduced, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or now as it's called, Super Saiyan Blue. Now, this movie wasn't really the best in like writing and plot stuff, because a Super Saiyan God Blue, or Super Saiyan Blue being shot down by a laser is just like nonsense. Like that's like, even now today, people still talk about that and using it as a meme when debating Goku versus Naruto. When it was explained in the movie itself that Goku, look, when you leave your guard down, you're easy to an attack. That's for any anime character. That's for any shonen character. Like, everybody has a weakness. But it was fixed in battle. Well, it was fixed in Super. And now to our new series, Super. Seeing them rekindle the old series and put it in a 6 years, 10 years time skip between the Boo ending and the end of Z. That's a lot of space to fill. We're like in the 4 or 5 year mark right now, I think. I could be wrong. I could be really wrong, because in the next 2 weeks, Bra is born, or Bula, and that is and that, like, people had a debate about that for a long time. Like, oh, where's Bra? Where's Bra? Where's Bra? And she's finally being born now. So you shut the fuck up now. But it's like some debate about having Super be like the sequel to Dragon Ball Z, or like a considered continuation. And I'm here to say that, I love Super, I love Dragon Ball, I love Dragon Ball Z, I like GT, not really the best series, even though I consider Super to be better than GT. And it's just like, this series has been around for 30 years. 30 years. Like, 30 years. Like, after all of this stuff, you think that this series will be over. Yes, you could consider it being milked. You could consider it being just dry. But I think it has more potential than that. Like, with this new arc we're getting into this universe survival arc, where Goku is now our villain, where Goku is now the enemy of all the universes. It's more of it could be more development for Goku's character. And I'm not really a Dragon Ball Z tard. Like, I want to rate you on, like, oh, what's better, so and so and so and so, or Dragon Ball Z. Like, like, you could write stuff, but the fighting in Dragon Ball, I think, is more potent and more better than a lot of the fighting in Dragon Ball Z. Like, Dragon Ball Z took it to do what the extreme, the beam struggles and the fighting at high speed and multiple punches and all that stuff. But as a series, as a whole, it made my childhood what it was, and it made me the person who I am right now. So I'm grateful to Akira Toriyama. I've grown a really fond and respect for Masako, which is the Japanese voice actor for Goku in the sub. I used to hate her voice so much, and I used to agree. I used to be one of those guys like, oh, Goku sounds like a grandma. Now, I really love her voice, and I would like to hear... Well, I'm both a sub and dub fan of Dragon Ball as a whole. Because even after, like, 30 years of playing Goku, she's still kicking, and she's still a strong-willed woman. And so is Shaw Schimmel. Like, Shaw Schimmel gave his voice in season 1 of Dragon Ball Z, redubbed it from the Ocean dub, and has been the one and only Goku for the last 20 years. So, tell me, you guys, your thoughts on this video. Tell me, how did you get into Dragon Ball Z? Tell me, how did you get into Dragon Ball? How you like it Super? How did you like Dragon Ball Z and all that other stuff? Please tell me in a comment down below. I would love to hear them. Cause I'm just a guy who loves anime. I'm a guy who loves Dragon Ball Z. I'm a guy who loves Dragon Ball Z. My next video will probably be something about Naruto or Fullmetal Alchemist. So, it's been your boy Dan Supplies. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day and everybody else live. Bye.